Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. 1 second, let me hit the record button here. All right, there we go. Today is Tuesday, the 25th of October. And today I'm going to talk about what is the story in your head? What are you telling yourself every day? So every day we have conversations with ourselves. I know I do. You know, that voice inside your head that starts conversations every day. What are those conversations? What is the story you're telling yourself about what you're going to accomplish for the day, what you're going to do, what your purpose in life is, you know, down to your deepest thoughts, to your what you're thinking about what you're going to eat for lunch. You know, what conversations are you having with yourself, and are you doing your best to control them and master those conversations? So I was watching a video a couple days ago, and it was Tony Robbins. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. You know, the motivational speaker guru, so to say, Tony Robbins. So one of the things he says is, there's two things. There's two videos I actually save on my phone, and I watch at least once a week or more, just to remind myself that even someone like Tony Robbins, who does this for a living, I mean, motivating people and makes multi-millions of dollars doing this, you would think that he doesn't have to think this way anymore. It's kind of like when you go to, when you see these star athletes, say like, you know, a professional golfer, I'm like, they still have to go out there and practice the same swing all of the time. And, you know, the professional athletes, they still have to go out there and practice it. And I never thought about this in terms of just being in a positive, good attitude and mastering your train of thought, the story that's in your head. You still have to think of it as an activity, an exercise of your brain. And I lose focus on that sometimes. So I have to remind myself of that. So in Tony Robbins, there's two videos I keep. And if anybody wants to, I could send these to you. Just reach out to me, text me. I'll send you a link to the videos. And one was, he just says that every morning, he sits, spends time, either could be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, and he sits down and always thinks of a minimum of 3 things that he's grateful for in his life. And he's rewiring his brain for the day, making sure he's off on the great start. He sits there and he thinks of 3 things, and he focuses on them, spend time focusing on them and being grateful for those things, those 3 things. And he's telling you that he's rewiring his brain every day, or at least pushing it down that avenue of, this is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm focused on. Not negativity. Every day, it's an exercise for the man who's probably one of the most positive people out there that you would think he wouldn't have to do this every day. I'm sure wherever he wakes up in the world, or wherever he lives, or whatever he's doing, it's probably a nice place to be. You would think that he wouldn't have to sit there wherever and go, I got to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And next, kind of a little bit opposite of that, he not really opposite of that, side to that, he makes decisions on what he's going to do. And he never, and I'm going to see if I could say this correctly, he never has a conversation, he never questions, he never tries to change his mind. Example, every morning, one of the things he does, I don't do this, is that he has like one of those cold plunges. He feels it's one of those things that's good for his health. He's a very healthy type person. So he exercises, gets his body going, and he takes a cold plunge in some cold bath, which I never have done. I don't know if I'll ever try that. I don't like the cold, but I might try it someday. But he says he never wakes up in any morning and says, I want to do that. He never wants to do it. But he knows that that's good for him. It makes his body feel better, but it's painful for him to do. But he knows, he believes in the health benefit of it. So, not debating the health benefit of a cold plunge, but he makes up his mind, he tells his mind, and he does it. And he doesn't renegotiate. That's the term I was looking for. He goes, I never renegotiate with myself. I say, and then I do. That's what he says. I say, and then I do. And I never let that my mind renegotiate with what I want to accomplish. So those two things I want to take about the story in your head of thinking of 3 things that you're grateful for every day. Every day, something I do, every inspirational quote that I pick and I send on Facebook. If you're watching us Facebook, I handpick those every day. Every day I post it on Facebook. Every day I send it to my wife. I send it to my 2 sons, and I send it to my 2 daughters. So those 5 people every day. One of the first things I do every day is my reminder of why I'm up for the day. So something I do. So personally, is that my wife, my children, every day, send them that positive quote just to let them know that I'm thinking about them, no matter where they are in their days already. I know my kids, usually they have their notifications off because I have 2 in college, and I know they're not getting up at 7 in the morning every day, but they know I'm sending it to them. But it also reminds me, giving something that is why that's my 1 positive or 5 positive and grateful things that I have in my life, and then I start my day off with that. So just want to give you that little personal information about what I do every day, because every day is not a great day for me, just like all of us, but I always try my best to start it off that way. So some things to think about is that if you can control your mind and get better with it, you can control your life better, when you could control that story that you tell yourself and those conversations you're having with yourself, you're going to have a better way of controlling your life. And if you can someday master it, I am far, I think, from mastering, where I could say I'm a master of my thoughts. Far from that, but I love that goal someday to say, I master my thoughts every day. If you can master your thoughts, then you're a master of your life. That's it. What you think is what you become. What you think about your life, and that's the life you're going to have. So if you always be conscious of that every day, I think that's helpful. At least be conscious of what you need to do, what you need to say, what the story needs to be, what the conversation you have to have with yourself, and not renegotiating with yourself. So hopefully that gives you some things to think about today and help you through your day. And remember, reach out to me, call, text, email me anytime. I'm happy to put you on my schedule and help you out with whatever you need. So have a great day. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. Bye-bye.